here's one that was not so easy to figure out, and that's Monica. Monica was hard because she flip-flops in people's mind between being ultra competitive but being a perfectionist.
Monica is you.
Monica is me.
You are Monica. Like,
I am.
Well, you're like a good mix between like Monica and Chandler, I feel like. But Monica is like a huge.
Yes.
Just, I mean, honestly, just from the mistype that I made of you that we talked about in our first episode, and then like even just right now, we put 1 or 3 up in the polls, and that was like. That was like 48 versus 52%.
Yeah,
like
and I knew
like
people
that.
would pick 1 mostly. I figured 1 would win because it's so easy to mistype her, and I call it a mistype as a 1 because we typed her as a 3. And the whole, it comes down to core motivation.
Right.
I really believe that, and I relate to her so well in the show there because I'm a perfectionist as well. And when you think of perfectionist, what number do you go to?
The 1.
You go to a 1.
But that's because we have so frequently called the perfectionist, they're the perfectionist, as opposed to the reformer.
Right.
I think that there's a very great distinction between the two.
There is, yeah. Perfectionist is just a quality of a 1, but it also bleeds over into the quality of a 3.
Right.
And this is where, because we even debated, okay, is she a 1 or a 3?
And we went back and forth so many times.
We did, and because she has a lot of tendencies of a 1.
Well, think about like the episode with the maid.
Yes.
Like she was convinced that she was the only one who could clean, and when she was clearly not the only one who could do that, I mean, the mess she got herself into between like thinking the maid stole all of her stuff. Is like,
yeah.
So. And that was her going to her insecurities.
It was, yeah, definitely. And so when I think about her, and I can kind of mirror myself, going back to the whole thing about core motivation, you know, she has a lot to prove to her parents because her parents think Ross is a god. And
which is so interesting to me because I feel like Rachel and Monica can really relate to each other with that whole parental thing as well.
Yes.
Even though Rachel didn't really have another.
She wasn't really trying to prove stuff to her mom as much.
She was proving stuff to her parents.
Her dad a lot.
So.
But, you know, Monica had to get her worth and her love through her actions and what she did.
Right.
And that was the core motivation. And so how I spin it in my mind, because this is how I am, when people think I'm a 1 and they'll mistype me as that, it's because in order for me to prove through my actions and what I do, my worth, I go to my mind and go, okay, if I do this perfect, I don't mess up, then nobody can come back and say that I messed up or I did it wrong or I'm not worthy because I did it perfectly. And I think a lot of her perfectionism comes from this and stems from the need to prove that she's worth everything that she does.
Right.
And so that's a backing of the whole thing of trying to prove your worth and your love and your honor and everything that you have that you want in life from other people. And so when I was looking at her going, wow, she's a perfectionist, she has pretty high moral standards, all these different things that, wow, a 1 really would display when it comes down to core motivation. And she's ultra competitive too. Like out of everybody.
Oh my gosh, she's the worst.
She's the worst.
Actually the best, but you know.
But yeah, she has to be the best. But oh my gosh, everything has to be a competition. Think about the episode. This is one of my favorite episodes. When the girls lose the apartment to Chandler and Joey.
Oh yes.
The whole competitiveness comes out in the game that they're playing.
She was unbeatable until she was beatable.
Yes.
And then she could not believe that she lost.
She could not believe it, could not handle it. She like puts her hand out to Rachel. She's like, look at my hand, steady as a rock. You know, she's like, I'm not gonna lose this thing. And then when she loses, oh my gosh.
The reaction,
and then she has to get it back. Even to go play like high card on the deck of cards to get it back. And
the desperation.
The Pictionary episode when they're all playing, you know, Pictionary together and she loses her mind and there's just so many things where she's just ultra, and that's, you don't find that as much of 1s.
No.
Somewhat, but 3s, it's so hardcore with her.
It's so hardcore, and I think honestly that she is probably one of the most exaggerated characters of the show, because a lot of them are very true to life. Monica, I think Alexandria, my sister, can relate to her frequently, but at the same time, like, it's just because her perfectionism is the thing that gets her in trouble.
Yes.
But I think about like the ways that it could have driven certain people away from her if they didn't know her and her core motivation so well. I like to think of the episode with like Phoebe and the whole bridesmaid, like, oh, you would definitely be my bridesmaid, to Rachel. And Monica flips out because she's like, wait, why wouldn't I be your maid of honor? Oh, wait, it's Maid of Honor. Because she's like, well, I'm the best. Like, I'm going to make sure everything is perfect. I'm going to make sure that, you know, and ultimately, of course, you know, Rachel is Monica's maid of honor in the end, which is kind of an ironic situation. But Monica has done so much. She's like, wait, why wouldn't she pick me? And I think that's a huge egotistical blow when you are a 3. And,
it is.
And why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you
pick me? I do everything.
Do it all right. I do it all the best.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can do it better than me. I'm the obvious choice.
Yeah.
And then the reaction when she doesn't get picked, or 3s don't get picked, or whatever. You know, being a 3, it's like, if you're not picked first on the team, you're like, well, why am I even here? Like, you know I'm the best. Why would you not pick me the first? I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
Stubbornness comes out. But I think she's a wing too. What do you think about the wings?
Monica, yeah, I mean, I think she uses wing 4.
Yeah.
But I think she's a pretty strong
a host.
wing too. Yeah, she's definitely a host.
She's self-proclaimed host. When we switched apartments, going back to that, she had to make the cookies, and she got out the fan to blow it over.
Oh, and the candy.
Yes, and the candy.
The candy episode.
Yes. So
the one with the candy.
She's the ultimate host, and so I think her wing 2 comes out with that. She's got to make sure that everybody's taken care of.
Yeah, which is a really admirable thing, of course, but, you know, it's just, it's definitely her to a T, so.
Yes, it is.